Hoggie's beer reviews. Hoggie's beer reviews.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another installment of Hoggie's Beer Reviews. And today we're doing something really special because not only is it a Florida thing because it's Cigar City, but we're doing two reviews. It's a dual review because this is basically two versions of the same beer. Now remember, I'm in South Florida. Cigar City is based out of Tampa, Florida. You know, they're really sought after in the beer world just because they're the new kid on the block who's doing big things, but their distribution is limited. So whenever I get my hands on some new Cigar City, I always try to bring it to you guys. And today's beers, what we have here is Cigar City's Either and Or. That's right, Either and Or. Either Or. These are the first two in a series of 4 beers. There's 2 more forthcoming, which are going to be Neither and Nor. Now, I won't get into the long detailed explanation of what happened here, but these are basically 2 takes on the same recipe. They're different versions of the same beer. These were both brewed at Cigar City in Tampa. But these recipes are all a collaboration between Cigar City, Hill Farmstead out of Vermont, and Grassroots Brewery out of Denmark. It goes a little deeper. I think the guy from Hill Farmstead worked some time at the brewery in Denmark. Peter, Master of Hoppets, I think has a better explanation in his review for both of these beers. He also did the dual review. But Cigar City did Either Or, 2 takes of this black ale, as it says on the bottle. It's basically a black IPA. Neither and Nor will be brewed out of Vermont and Denmark respectively. They're basically all takes on the same recipe but done a little differently, and especially with the Vermont and Denmark ones, they're going to be done using local ingredients, which of course is going to change the flavor profile a little and all that stuff. But it's basically just kind of an interesting creative experiment on the part of the brewers. And since, again, Cigar City's hard to come by, so when I find some stuff like this, I snatch it, not only just out of personal curiosity, but because I want to bring it to you guys, because I know a lot of people hear about Cigar City and would love to try them, but it's just not available in your area. So, getting to this, I keep grabbing the wrong one because it's Either Or, but I got it faced for you guys, so it's actually right to left. So, we're going to start with Either. And, you know what? It says Either, black ale. It says ale brewed with honey. A high-gravity black ale brewed with Tai honey, copious amounts of hops, and aged on toasted Spanish cedar. Okay? And let's see. On the side, this recipe was conceived by Cigar City Brewing and brewed in collaboration with our friends at Grassroots Brewing Denmark and Hill Farmstead Vermont. Either try this beer or try this beer. This recipe was conceived by the brewers of Hill Farmstead Vermont and Grassroots Brewing Denmark and brewed in collaboration with Cigar City Brewing. It's kind of hard to keep track of how they did it, but whatever. We start with Either. Let's see, getting right to it. I'm on the wrong window. Just to punch it up on Cigar City, just to give you kind of a general idea. On Cigar City, it gets a B+ out of 77 reviews. It's categorized as an American black ale, and it's 11.2 alcohol by volume. Keep that in mind, guys. This is high alcohol. 11.2. It's high alcohol, and it's not cheap. I think this was like a $7 or $8 12-ounce bottle. So, Either. Getting right to it. This may not be the best style of glass for this beer, but it's the only one that I had 2 of, and I wanted to do the matching glasses. I didn't have 2 snifters or anything, so screw it, that's what we're using. And Cigar City is getting better. Some of their new caps have a little logo on it, but these don't, plain gold. So, I've had these boys sitting in the fridge for a few weeks now, so I'm happy to finally get to them and see what they're all about. I'll be sipping these guys through the night because I'm not going to be chugging 11.2. Be 24 ounces of 11.2. I'm not that crazy. Alright. It's a black ale. It's not a stout. It's going to be hoppy. It's brewed with honey. It smells good. I just caught a whiff of that. like a licorice, like a dark fruit kind of thing. Maybe a hint of like a kind of a honey sweetness. And I mean, it is black, you can't see through that. And it's like a light brown, kind of a darkish khaki head. I had them a little colder than maybe I should have, so I didn't get a lot of head on the pour, but still, look at that. See if you can make that out. I mean, it just looks good. It's black, it's rich, it smells very inviting. Again, licorice, dark fruits, not much hops to speak of. Hint of cherry. Hints of, I want to say chocolate, but it's not like dark chocolate. It's almost like milk chocolate. And I had the sun in my face a minute ago, now there's a cloud, and it's kind of overcast now. That sucks, but oh well. I should be doing this at night, but I felt like doing it now while I could. I've been wanting to get to these beers for a while. It smells really rich, really good, so. And on that first sip, you can tell it's a high alcohol beer. But the body's lighter than you'd expect. Hoppiness and carbonation and that bit of bitter astringency from the roasted malts, all that hits you up front. But there's not a lot of heft to it. Maybe because it's so cold, but it's very easy to drink aside from kind of like that fumy booziness to it. Piney resinous hops on the finish, mixed with the roasted malt. Across the middle, there's hints of sweetness again, licorice, almost kind of like a molasses thing, like a light brown sugar molasses kind of thing. You can make out a little bit of a honey as well, and just a bitter, hoppy, resinous finish. Typical of a black IPA. So there's that. I'm not going to go any further into that. I'm going to get to pour now. Let me go back to the other window. Again, just to give you guys kind of an idea of what we're working with. Or on Beer Advocate receives an A- out of 72 reviews. Also categorized as an American black ale at 11.2% alcohol by volume. So this one seems to be a little more well regarded. We'll see. And again, pour. You gotta love it when a beer is just called pour. Alright. And maybe I should have had like some water or something to cleanse the palate, but what the hell. This guy's a little smokier. Alright. Let's see. I remember I was talking to Matt from Matt's Beer Reviews. He did one of these. I think it might have been either. But I think he said he had them both. I forget how the conversation went, but he liked one more than the other. What's up, Matt? We got to do what we planned. Hoggie and Matt probably doing a dual review at some point soon. Stay tuned for that. This is how Florida thing. But, alright. Or, again, pitch black. No light coming through here. Same light brown, dark khaki kind of head. Oh, this smells different. This smells kind of like more of an IPA smell. The other one hit me more with like dark fruits and licorice. It was more stouty, imperial stouty. This, the first whiff is hoppiness. You know, it's not as rich and as malty in the nose, but it's hoppy. You know, if I did like a blind taste test kind of thing, and you know, I had my eyes closed, and you just kind of wafted it under my nose, I might think it was an IPA just from that hop aroma coming up off this beer. Although if you pay attention, there is some dark malt under there. There's definitely more to it than just hops. So. Yeah, but I'm not getting the licorice, I'm not getting the dark fruits, I'm not getting that roastier character I was getting from either. So, to the taste. This one tastes a little richer, a little fuller. The body, along with the carbonation, kind of gives it like a thicker, fuller mouthfeel. And it doesn't have that bitterness up front or in the finish. Still a resinous, bitter finish, but a little more toned down than the either. You also get a good roasted malt character, but this one's more reminiscent of like dark chocolate, of that bitter, astringent dark chocolate. There's less hints of that more broad sweetness, the molasses, the honey, the milk chocolate, the licorice, the dark fruits that you got on that in the taste. You don't get as much sweetness across the middle. It's more straightforward. It drinks almost like an imperial stout, like a very tame, very simple imperial stout. Yeah, I mean, I like them both. This is just more bitter roasted malt, bitter hop resin. There's not as much of like a fruity, flavorful sweetness. So let's see. All right, here's what you do. Plums, licorice, molasses, all mixed in with a resinous, hoppy finish. Not so much. All right, I'm gonna close this out because I think I've pretty much said everything. This one is more flavorful across the board. You get more sweetness. You can note the honey a lot more. I can't say which one's the better beer because it all depends on your taste and what you consider better. I would say this is a more impressive beer, a more worthwhile beer, because there's just more going on. There's so much more going on with either. Or is a simpler version. The flavor profile is more narrow. Again, it's roasty and it's hoppy, and that's about it. Whereas either is roasty and hoppy, and there's that dark fruit element, and it's like a really good imperial stout with a hop blast. Where this is like a halfway decent, you know, simple semi-imperial stout with a hop blast. So again, I won't rate these because these are kind of a limited experimental beer. I hope someday I can get my hands on neither and nor, although I seriously doubt it. Although if I get my hands on them, we're doing a review, you know, because I got to bring it to you guys at Cigar City. Cigar City got one called Vujade. Me and Matt plan on doing that one sometime soon, just for the sake of Florida. But that's it, guys. Cigar City's either and or. My money's on either. Your mileage may vary. Thanks for joining me. Go Marlins. And I'll see you guys later. Take care, guys. Thanks for tuning in.